Hello and welcome to the Cosmic Heart Podcast. I am your host, Jessica Hope, and I'm here with Lalita, otherwise known as Lalita Kambika.
Ambika.
Ambika?
Lalitambika.
Sorry, I said that wrong.
Okay.
I brought her on today to the Cosmic Heart because I wanted to give her an opportunity to share her story about things that she's experienced and the real, raw, authentic how she has been rebirthed and from my observation into the version of herself today. And her path has been one that is not for the faint of heart. I will say that. I really, really honor and respect how hard you've pushed through so many different things. And I know a lot of them you haven't shared publicly. um, you are someone that I can genuinely say, even though we have not had a chance to talk a lot, I have observed your journey. And I, as a master of many different art forms of spirituality and soul work, can say that I really respect how hard you've pushed through what a lot of people would have given up on.
Thank you.
And I feel you're welcome. And I feel like you deserve a lot more honor than you've received. And this is really more of an opportunity for me to share with you how proud I am of you and how I want the world to see who you are and what you're doing. And I'm excited for you because you're working on making Ormus and exciting new journeys. So yeah, just I feel like it's a good opportunity for you. Yes, absolutely. I feel like this is a good opportunity for you to really, really give the world a piece of who you are. So I want to start. I want to start by asking you a couple questions. I like to kind of, I like to kind of give you an opportunity to really kind of tap in. And so when we do these podcasts, I hold energetic space. I do many things, and one thing that I do is I hold sacred space for who it is that I'm in front of and who's before me as both divine beings. So, the essence of the cosmic heart or the podcast is we are connected together in a sacred space, connected to the heart of the cosmos. And through the heart of the cosmos, we're all connected. We're all a part of that same heartbeat. No one's better than, greater than, less than. And so um, I just really feel like it's important for me to share that and make sure that that's deeply understood because this is something that I've not seen anywhere else before.
Mm. Yes.
I'm going to ask you, who do you feel like inspires you the most in your life? And it doesn't have to be one person, but just people or beings that come to mind that have really inspired you throughout your life.
People and beings. Honestly, it's basically been more nature, connection to nature more than anything. I never really have connected and really like praised humans. Like I just, I've gotten lessons and I've learned and then I've moved on. But most recently, I would say the most respected teacher and spiritual leader I have come across that I have the most respect for right now is who I'm a apprentice of, and that's Art Tarby, and that is who I'm working with now, doing a few things we'll talk about later. And he's just an amazing, amazing human, and he has been teaching me how to tap into my true self and what the meaning is of that, and kind of helping me move through the teachings and not get stuck on a lineage or any specific human and just go from the top and work down. So I would say he's the most inspiring person so far for me.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I feel like you, since working with him, have come light years in your
Oh,
spiritual development.
yeah, hugely. He has just helped me. He's helped me just burn through the chitta and the samskaras and just help me push it out. And that's with the healing work that we do.
Yeah,
It helps with the progress of that. So
that's beautiful.
yeah.
I love that. I love hearing that. And that's how you know it's a true master, because
Mm,
really when someone is able to come into another person's life and receive so much expedited levels of healing and just years and years and years of things essentially fading away, it it's not something that's to be taken lightly, and people like that should be honored.
absolutely.
It really, I mean, because I understand, I've done this beautiful, miraculous work on people, and it's like me and my partner, Marley, partner in healing, Marley, we do so much work and we have so many conversations of, we haven't asked for a lot of financial compensation, though we should. It's really more, the deepest appreciation is just feeling honored,
Mm,
just recognize I did this. I've done all this work. I've lived all these lifetimes. I've come here to be a servant of humanity, to assist in this process that's happening on the planet. And I brought forth my gifts and my abilities to help you because of love and only love. So it's nice when it's just reciprocated in honor.
yes.
And I have to recognize a master when I see one.
Yes, absolutely.
I'm gonna ask you a question that I feel like is more than a one-part question, but just speak freely. Um, what would you say are your most proudest accomplishments of your life so far?
Hmm. Learning how to breathe, honestly, because
That's
if you can control your breath, honestly, you can control your mind. And with that, there's no limits. And so, um, yeah, I would say honestly, learning how to breathe, and then, learning the practice of yoga, which is all day. It's not just doing asanas and breathing. It's a daily practice until you, even in your sleep. So, and keeping that mindfulness. Yeah.
absolutely,
Mhm.
that's beautiful. It's it. A lot of people I feel like would hear that and see it as simple, and it is and it isn't,
No,
because
it's not.
I will say I was about 19. I want to say I was 19. I just had my oldest son. And I remember it was like a tape, like a little, like the cassette tape.
Mhm.
And I remember putting it on. I can't even remember. I'm trying to remember where I even got it. I have no idea. I had a VCR, no cable, $200 a month. Thankfully, I had the Section 8 housing program. I just became a mom, my life was a whirlwind of crazy and chaos before that. And I'm sitting there and it's got this little tape and I put it in the tape player and I'm like, it's just breathe in through one side of the nose and breathe out through your right hand. Of course, since then I've gone through light years of spiritual training and coming into myself, my soul blasting me open. But I'm 19, just became a mom. I'm in my first house ever on my own and don't have no idea how to make it. My son had heart conditions. I was terrified. There was so many things going on. And I'm just like, okay, let's breathe. Let's try that. And I will tell you, I mean, that was like a catalyst into just bringing the back my mindfulness into my body, my spirit, my mind, and the present moment. Even though I had no idea how to do that all the way at that time, it was like, it was so simple, and yet it was so unacknowledged how important it is to just breathe.
Yeah,
So,
and through
yeah,
learning the process of breath, I was able to turn within. I was able to heal, and with that, I started teaching yoga myself and pranayama, and it's absolutely beautiful when people come in the doors and they just can't breathe, and then they leave just completely calm and in another space. So, yeah, it's a beautiful process.
transcending. It's
Yeah,
beautiful.
for
That's
sure.
amazing. I'm so proud of you. I
Thank
just have
you.
to have you hear me, excuse me, say that out loud. Um, I want to ask you another question I have here. What do you feel makes you unique in your like true essence and also like in your spiritual walk? What do you feel like makes you unique and also, and I know this can be a loaded question, but what do you love about yourself?
Mm. You want to repeat that first part?
What do you feel makes you unique and helps you stand out like within your own individual authentic essence of you? And also, you know, it could be in tandem with like your spiritual, like unique about like your spiritual embodiment because I could say what I observe about you, what I feel like makes you unique in certain ways, but yet I feel like it's a better answer when it comes from within. And I also would like to know what you love about yourself. I feel like that's an important question.
Okay. So, let's see. For me, I think because I have walked a pretty, pretty traumatic life and I've been able to overcome that. Like for instance, I no longer have complex PTSD, and that is through the what I teach. And I think that is special on its own because that's proof that we are not the disease, we are not these things that are out there, and so we can overcome it. And I think that kind of is a special thing that not only was I able to overcome this, but find the techniques that truly work, these really old ancient techniques, and to pass it on. You know, that's my goal, is to show it to humanity. We deserve it. It's our right as when we're born to be able to breathe and be in a blissful state. So it's our natural state. So I don't know, I guess that would kind of make me a little special, I guess, on that end.
Absolutely.
And what I love about myself is that I have, no matter what has happened to life, I have overcome. I have awakened my consciousness, and I'm ready to spread that love and teaching to others, you know. I think that's awesome. So,
It is. It very much is.
yeah. I don't view
It's
myself as this body and what I do. You know, I see myself as spirit, so I don't have much to to really put out there about it. So, apologies on that.
no, 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 no. It's your answer is the right answer.
So,
There's no wrong answer. I feel, I feel like I don't, and this is where I don't want to in any way speak for you. When I ask you this question, I just want to give you the floor. But I would really love for you to have the opportunity to share the real, like I said, the raw, authentic version of what you have experienced. You don't have to talk about anything that you don't want to share, but I feel like there are a lot, and I mean a lot of people who have been through so much, especially when it comes to traumas and domestic violence and family trauma and just the things that you have experienced. Again, I only know from, you know, my own outer layer perspective, but I feel like you have, as like I do in my own ways too, a really deep, like raw, visceral um story of experiences that you've gone through that are not all light and love and like, you know, okay, just say these mantras and everything's gonna get
yeah.
better. But like the real shit, you know what I mean? Like
Brutal.
you went through real shit and it was
Yeah.
really, really, really hard. And what I want to give you an opportunity to do is share that and share, at least for today, some pieces that come to you of how you genuinely were able to move yourself through those traumas and the pain and get to where you are now.
Okay. Okay. So just a warning. I don't know what's going to come out, so I'm just going to go with the flow. And so there may be some very triggering things that I say that may trigger others, because there's some pretty traumatic stuff that is in my story. So I'm just gonna kind of just give bits and pieces, not kind of go into full
Yes.
details because like I said, it's pretty triggering, even some for me still. So
Y-
um but we're working through it. So okay, I was born in the East Bay, kind of grew up around Oakland, Hayward, Antioch area. Um, so I grew up in I guess what from the outside looked normal, but it really wasn't. My parents suffered from mental illness. I grew up with molestation and rape and everything in between that. So I moved out at a really young age. I was just turned 16. And a couple months later, I found out I was pregnant with my first son, and so that's my journey into motherhood began. But at the same time, during that, I started being introduced to domestic violence, and so when I was pregnant is when the physical abuse started, and I started getting choked out and stuff like that. So that's where my journey into domestic violence started, and it became an issue for many, many years afterwards because that's, of course, all I knew. So um, I had many children, and during this time, I had different relationships, very, 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 very brutal in domestic violence. It just kept getting worse. We had, there was drug addiction, there was, like I said, violence, CPS. I had children taken away. I actually, one of my children was molested, and I walked in on that, and I did come forward to the county and the state, but they turned me away and didn't listen. So that was another journey of what to do, where to go. And so
Right.
eventually got through all of that in a harsh way, was reunited with some of my children. And during that time, my eldest son passed away. This was about 2 years ago. And so after he passed away, it was just
Mm.
life, everything just hit like I had a nervous breakdown basically, and I ended up in a
Yeah.
psych ward. And I just knew that something had to change. Like
Right.
this wasn't the end of our story. Like was not how it was going to be, and my children were not going to see me be another statistic of what society was already trying to train me to be. So went through some trials there, got out of the ward, and started picking up the pieces, got a bunch of jobs, proved I could be in society. um and then my car was stolen and then that caused me
Uh,
to lose my job. Then I lost my housing, and it was back to, oh my God, what do I do,
yeah.
and so I went out into the woods, and I prayed and I meditated, and I just gave myself to the nature spirits and to creator, and was like, okay, so I'm done. What do we do? And I just heard, go to the ashram. And I had already been there before, and I was introduced to yoga when I'm in my teens, but
Right.
this is when my journey truly began. And I went into the ashram. A week later, I shaved my head for a spiritual cutting. So that's kind of what I have going on here. But it was for my son, and I'm also Native American, so it's part of my heritage. So
Hmm.
it's just something we do in the process of grieving. And
You want
so I went, yeah, so it's not a hairstyle where I was like, hey, it was also, I thought about possibly becoming a monk. I was like, okay, I just need to go into a cave and just never speak again. And so my journey began 2 years ago when I went into the ashram. And honestly, I just went in there to try and heal, and the process did begin. I became a yoga instructor, I became an Ayurvedic massage therapist. And then I had a second awakening about a year ago, right after I became a massage therapist. And that's when my teacher came to me. He showed up at the ashram at the same time. And we both kind of left the ashram and just met up, and we started working in the lab together, producing mupu, and starting our healing school that is in the process of being done, and doing healing sessions and such. So that's just kind of, here I am, the rundown.
That's exciting. So you guys are going to be doing a school for healing?
Yes, we are. Right now we are doing online sessions every Tuesday, 7:30 to 8:30, where we do basically healing sessions. And that is basically dealing with subtle body mechanics. So it's very complicated to just explain in one setting, and it's
Yeah.
pretty outside of the box for most. So but we do healing sessions. We go in and we help people. We basically bring your panchakoshas into alignment so that your true self can calibrate higher and raise your consciousness. And so we're in the Yeah, we're in the process of doing that and opening a school, but we're waiting for more things to take place in order to set foot on property. So
So this podcast is actually a home for very in-depth healing concepts because as I teach more of what I do, it's going to get way out of
the box.
I mean, I know
Supposed
at some
to.
point it's gonna be like, what did
Yeah,
she
so
say?
that's what we do.
We gotta Google
Like you can call us Ghostbusters, but we do a little bit more than that. Like,
it. Yeah,
any
nature plant.
parasites that are attached, we can get rid of them, but it's done in a different setting and way than most are used to. So
So for the people that will understand in later on when they hear this playback, do you want to give a bit more in depth of what it is that what you're doing? Because if there's somebody that hears this and they want to learn what you're doing, I want to give them at least an opportunity to hear like, a little bit more of what kind of work you do because I want to link your school. I
yeah.
want to be able to have people have a way to find you so they can, learn if that's what they're called to do.
Yeah, so currently we are in the process of actually getting a website and everything set up. So right now it's kind of been more of a private doing online like Zoom sessions and then it kind of getting out. So what we do is what we are calling, we really don't like names and labels. We're not a church, we're not a religion, but in order to
Yeah.
make it nonprofit, we have to come up with some names. So right now we're just calling it the Institute of Applied Subtle Body Mechanics.
Okay.
So this is kind of just so hard to explain. So what we do is, like I said, basically just to bring it down to simplicity is we bring the panchakoshas into level, into alignment so that your true self and consciousness is at its optimum and you can continue your sadhana, your practice, and your life a little bit easier. We work with different walks of people from every walks of life, from the streets to swamis and people that are Reiki healers and stuff. We have a theory that healers need to be healed as well. So, we put so much energy and time out there and we don't want to ask people for money. We don't want to ask them for anything like, hey, this is what we do,
Hmm.
and we're really not supposed to, but at the same time, the struggle is real and we need to eat as well. So, yeah, we do private sessions. We can go to businesses, properties, homes, whatever you need, and we can do clearings of spirits of whatever demons, parasites, we can do it. And we don't just sit down and sage and get rid of them. We go in and we find them, we see them, and we completely take them apart and dissolve them so that they can no longer go into the universe and affect anybody else. Um
That's
we,
beautiful. These
yeah,
sounds
and
good,
it's
but
very, very complex. So if you want to get together another time and we can really go into detail and I can have my teacher come in and explain it more because it's very complex and I'm just an apprentice right now. So I don't want to muddle anything up.
yeah,
So do you know what I mean? So that's one thing that we do. And we add in Ormus as well with that, the Mupu. And then we also use the Rife machine. So we have some people that are coming out of cancer and stuff as well. So it's a combined thing that we're trying to come together and do. And eventually we'll add in pranayama, more Ayurveda, massaging and all of that. And it will be set in stone on property. So
beautiful.
that's what we're doing.
So do you want to briefly break down what the Rife machine does and also what makes Ormus as powerful as it is for people that don't know what those are?
Okay, so Ormus, it's not something that we actually make. It's an energy that actually naturally exists. We just produce the environment it likes to hang out in. So what Ormus does, I prefer to call it Mupu because Ormus is more the scientific end, created in the 70s, and it doesn't even touch the spiritual end of what Mupu is. So it's a natural occurring substance that does come out of the earth in certain spots once or twice a year, but is also an ancient medicine that the sadhus found out about 5,000 years ago and learned how to produce the environment for it. And it was actually in the teachings, but it has been lost throughout the years through Hinduism and everything. It's just outside of the box, right? So what it is, it's just an awesome energy that already exists. And when you can use it on the metaphysical end, if you use it on your crops, your trees, your anything, it helps every organism, any living organism, come to its fullest potential. So if you do it on your farm with your plants, and your fruits and vegetables, your yield is going to be stronger. You're going to have more fruit and vegetables. It's going to have a longer life shelf. It's going to be less, it's going to be more resistant to pests. So you won't have to use pesticides. It does amazing stuff to the dirt, so you don't really have to fertilize it. And so that's the metaphysical end. But on the spiritual end, it it aligns your whole panchakoshas and everything and brings you to your fullest potential and your conscious level.
So
So
would you say panchakoshas are more of they're not so much like the chakra, but it's more of the energetic systems within the body's energy field.
within the physical all the way to the astral.
Correct.
Yes.
So, and for people who don't understand how that works, it is an in-depth teaching, but just to help bring some awareness and understanding, the panchakosha would be another term for, we all have energetic systems. So we have the physical body, the body has energetic systems which are in your aura. And then you have your spirit, which is your physical human form has a spirit which contains your personality, your blueprint, etc. And then outside of your spirit, you have your soul, which is your higher self, your consciousness that retains all life memories from every incarnation you've ever had, no matter where it was and when it was, through time and space. And so into your astral body, this would be also all interconnected from your energetic field all the way out to your higher self, because your astral body can expand and contract. So when you're, as you say, your panchakoshas are aligned, it then allows your inner being, your true essence, to come out. What this means to people who are wanting to further understand how to bring your true self out, there are different ways to do that. This is one beautiful form of being able to really expedite your inner essence and inner being to be able to fully just release into your body. You must be in alignment. And what that means, simplified, is your soul, which is your higher self, your consciousness that retains all memory, your spirit, which is part of your human form, your physical form, and your body and your mind and your heart, all being fully in aligned with who you are in your true essence of this current incarnation. And if you want to learn more about that, I will have a link to her work that she's doing, and I'll let you contact her because I'm doing other work.
Right. Yeah, and then so am I. So it's like, this is just a little piece of it. So yeah, it's interesting. I'm just
Um,
like doing alchemy and having fun, to be honest. It's
right.
talking to nature spirits, and being like, hey, it's time. Make medicine.
Healing the whole planet over here.
Yeah, seriously. So, and all of this is new to me, so I apologize if I can't go into full explanation because I just don't want to muddle it up. It's very intense and
No,
it's out
no,
there. So,
don't don't feel like you need to apologize whatsoever. I just felt called to give a bit more explanation on that, just so people can, who are listening back, I mean, they may be watching it on YouTube, but who are listening back on the podcast, just, you know, I had a lot of things I was learning, and as I was coming into myself, and there were certain terms that people would say, and I was like, okay, I was with you until that part. I don't know
yep,
what
yep,
that
totally.
means. So,
Yeah. No one
you know,
understands me now. I'm like, sorry.
when
Great.
I have, yeah, when I have in-depth soul conversations, it's like you really got to be on a totally different plane to
Yeah.
fully understand the whole thing. Um, so, oh, this is a good question, and I got to give credit to my partner, Jeremy. He actually is the one that So all these questions are divinely channeled. This one he gave to me, and I feel like it's a really good question for you because I know you'll give real answers. So when you feel triggered, what are some of the ways that you have found for yourself to be most successful at bringing yourself back to your center and coming back into alignment with your inner peace, your inner self?
Hmm. For me, it is to sit down and breathe. And then I do my asanas sometimes, certain ones, if it's really bad. And I will sit down and I will tap into myself, my true self, and remind myself I'm spirit. You know, and then and sometimes depending on what it is, if it's a thought or memory that's triggering, I'm learning how to release that. And
Mm-hmm.
it's called samsaras, it's chitta. And so I'm learning how to just let it flow. I don't tap into the show. I just let it go, and it's a release, and it goes. So that's been my main go-to, that, and also taking some mupu.
So, do you feel, thank you for sharing that with me and with everyone, honestly, because I feel like a lot of people really just need to be reminded of certain things, even though I know we know them. It's good to just bring our mindfulness back to, simply put, guide yourself back into your center, take some quiet time, quiet your mind if you can, and just really focus on your breath. Um, Remembering who you are is also extraordinarily important. I wanted to ask you on what you said. So for the asanas, what are, even if it's just one, what is an example of the asanas that you use to help you bring yourself back into your awareness?
On a real bad day, I will straight go into a corner or outside and get in a headstand. It's like, it's like bam, and it brings you into that state. But I prefer, usually it's not even just one asana. I do my pranayama, and which is Kapalabhati and Anuloma Viloma. And then
Hmm.
I do about an hour of traditional yoga, which is sun salutation, and then it goes into many other asanas, which I do teach. So um
Well,
yeah. So yeah, on a full blown day, I'll do a 2 hour session, to be honest. And so, but the headstand is one that I absolutely adore. That just centers me right away for some reason. So, but that's just me. Like, I don't recommend it for everybody.
I had I had a friend in the back in the day. She's an old soul sister for sure, and she well, if you ever hear this, Kara Maria Ananda. Um, she's special. She's very special. She would always do, she is she's always working on something, and it's like I get it because we're always like on to the next, on to the next, on to the next. Next trying to write a book and I want to teach this class and I'm gonna do this
Right.
over here, multi-dimensional.
Yeah.
Excuse, it's raining, so I'm not gonna say excuse the rain, but it's raining. So if you have rain audio, um, she would always say, I need to change, something's not clicking and I need to change my perspective. And she would just go into her room and get in a headstand and just put her feet up on the wall and just hang out for a little while. And I was like, I've done that when I was younger, but my body let me do that now so much.
It works. I mean, even just sitting in a steady posture, just sitting with my eyes closed works sometimes, so you don't have to get dramatic, but it works. It just depends on it. When you say triggered, that means, okay,
Yeah.
line. So maybe I need to do something physical to kind of push through that.
I've found, um, I've definitely put in, so, and when I say so much, I mean never ending for 17 years now, spiritual and soul work every single day. I've never taken a day to not.
Yeah.
But um so I mean I can't compare myself to most people's journey, or anyone's journey really, but I will say there's a there's a rare moment now where I will be triggered to where I feel my spirit. Like it's not really my soul per se, because I know my soul's pretty chill, like really, really like calm all the time. But my spirit,
Mhm.
this me, where someone will say something and or do something, and it's like, I don't want to have to bring that part of me out. I really don't. I really don't. Not today. Please don't do it.
Yeah, luckily I'm not really, yeah, I'm not dealing with being triggered. I've been studying the map of consciousness by David Hawkins, and it's really, really, really opened my eyes to how
Yeah.
humans function, how we're all on different levels. And once you can tap into that and understand, oh wow, we're totally on a different conscious level. This is where this person's coming.
Yes. I think you froze. You there?
Yes, sorry, internet. It's snowing right now, so the internet
Oh,
kind of like oops.
that's okay.
Yeah.
No, that's okay. We can edit. Um, yes, to everything that you were saying, and I just wanted to mention something. So obviously, it's a more in-depth concept um to certain people, just because of everybody's on their own, path of learning and understanding life. But uh, I'm recognizing through us actively going through this shift of consciousness that we are currently undergoing as a planet. Um, it's real. It's so real that some people, like, people are still operating on 3D consciousness, and then
Oh
you
yeah.
have people that are stuck in 4,
Oh
where
yeah.
it's like it's in between spirit and physical, and then you have fifth, which is a totally different level, and then it just keeps going from there. And so those of us that have actually ascended already,
Hmm.
um it's literally, you can have two totally separate realities in a conversation with two people, and they're not even aware. It's like you're saying, I just heard you say this, and then they're saying, no, I didn't say that at all. It's because you're literally having two different realities conversating at the same time.
Yes. Yes.
And it's kind of a trip. It's like I'm watching it unfold, and I'm like, I'm having conversations, and then when I see someone and they're in a lower density or consciousness level, and then I'm trying to conversate with them from higher self in physical body.
They don't understand. Yeah.
No, they're like,
Yeah. And
and
that's when you can start understanding and calibrating people. Like that's the coolest thing I'm loving to learn right now is calibrating where people are at. And I'm like, oh wow,
yeah,
okay. So, I'm over here at 500 and this person's at 250. Where does this person actually like where does their mind and spirit actually like what do they understand? What can they comprehend? And then from there I can knock it down and then work
yeah,
with it. So, and there's nothing wrong with that. We're all going to be on different conscious levels. Our karma is all different. So, instead of looking down on anybody, it's like more of understanding and then being able to help them maybe awaken a little bit more and raise their consciousness as well. So
yeah.
yeah, it's an interesting, yeah, I'm understanding more that I don't make sense more and more now lately. So I'm like, it's okay.
Well, and that's it. And it is because the people that are supposed to understand you and learn from you, they're going to naturally gravitate towards you. And the people that won't, I mean, if they love you, then they'll love you regardless.
Yeah, correct.
I've had to let go on a personal level. I'll share. I've had to let go of people that I never thought I would have to
Mhm.
recently. And it's been really hard.
Yeah, it's a when you go through the transition, and it's what I call it, and it is a transition of your awakening in your consciousness. You do end up having to drop a lot of people, and it is painful, but um, it's a must do. And a lot of
It
and what
is.
I've realized with my journey is yeah, there's a lot. It's called yoga resistance, and when you start doing your awakening in your journey, a lot of people don't understand. They just don't, and so that has to be an understanding that okay, they just don't understand, and you gotta kind of just move on, and it's okay.
Right.
not everybody needs to understand. We're all different living conscious beings at different levels. So
Right.
yeah.
And I want to say, I want to add to that for people who hear this. Um, it's really important that we do take in what you're sharing when it comes to not judging people or looking down on them for where they're at in their spiritual journey and progress, because even though, yes, I mean, we're all going to judge each other. That's just the nature of being in a physical body. We're all going to have judgment in one form or another. I mean, when I say being gentle and being respectful of other people's journey, I don't mean be okay with someone who would hurt innocent children or be okay with people who go out and murder other people.
Yeah.
It
That's
it
a different level.
that is obviously you're living in the law of the land, and the law of the land here in this realm, in this world, is you're in a human form, you're in a physical body, you live by the physical rules, and therefore there are basic, right, common laws of being
The
human.
laws of nature.
Right.
You know?
So it's like, if let's say for example, it comes to me to share this, like let's say for example you have two tigers, and they're partnered, right? And another tiger comes along, a male tiger, and he tries to take the female tiger from the male. um well, the male tiger is going to defend what he sees is his, right, that's his partner, that's his love. And so that tiger, if the other pushed enough, would kill him. So it's like there's different layers and levels to all of it, because yes, as a human being, we're primal and we do have those instincts of like protecting what we love and being willing to hurt someone to protect the people that we love. All of those things are a natural part of the expression of being in the physical form. So it's like, yes, we can judge, but at the same time, when if we ourselves are pushed enough, what would we do for the ones that we love? We will be the warrior.
Oh, and I have been. I literally have been. And so it's great to now be in a state where I don't have to be. And there are
Yes,
different ways where you can overcome the senses and the mind, and you can just be your true consciousness at all times. So, um,
absolutely.
yeah, yeah. It's a beautiful
Yeah.
journey. It's interesting.
I know I know a bit of something that you shared a long time ago just came to my mind, and I won't touch on that, but yeah, I know you get it.
Oh, I do. I do. I do. I do. And that's why I love what I'm doing. It's just because I get to work with people and be like, hey, you can overcome, you can, there's options. There's beautiful medicine out there and techniques that have been lost to society, but they're coming back out. So that's all I'm trying to do is just share the love.
I want to add one thing, and then I have one more question for you before we close out this episode. And I would like to say something to you, and I know you do know this, but for other people that are listening as well, but this is from me to you, is when you have had a life where you go through so much of the darkness, um, trauma and just pain and just these why is it so much of this kind of energies and experiences. um Someone told me a long time ago, they said the brightest lights go into the darkest places. And because I asked, I was like, just, I'm not complaining, I'm not, but why, like, why does it just not stop? I just want it, like, does any
Yeah.
part of the journey ever get to feel peaceful?
Right.
um is like, is that even for me?
Mhm.
um and so, and man, I have a story even recently, it's like, holy shit. So, but again, the brightest lights go into the darkest places. But I feel like it's getting to a point now where we are we are getting to a higher state of being, a higher state of consciousness, to where we're not in as much heavy densities. And I pray that moving forward that we do have a lot more peaceful and higher vibrational experiences, because I feel like so many of us have gone through so much of the dark, of the hurt, of the pain. I'm transcending and transforming and transmuting and lifting and just helping bring to light all the darkness on the planet, to the point where now it's like, okay, I feel like the creator is getting us to a point where we can have a bit of a rest.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I
Agreed.
That's what
I
I feel
can.
internally. Yeah,
No,
and I
and it
pray.
is happening, and we're all starting to kind of get together. Like I'm watching all of us medicine women and men coming together, and it's really beautiful. I'm enjoying watching the process for sure.
That's what this is all about.
Yeah, it's time. It's time.
It's
So
been time. It's
I
been
know,
time.
right? Oh wow, it's really snowing. Okay, sorry.
Beautiful. All right, I'm gonna ask you one more question then, so because I know you probably got to drive.
Yeah,
Um, okay, so this question is it's you don't have to have like one singular thing on here, so don't feel like pressure, just whatever comes to your heart. In all the ways that you're already doing this in one form or another, how do you feel deep down inside that you desire to help create a better reality here in this world, and allow your if you're as you're allowing yourself to do this, how do you feel your impact on this world is making it a better place than before you got here?
how was my impact? Well, it's I'm bringing out the truth. Simply simple, and it's not me bringing it out, it's simply spirit speaking through me, and by bringing out the truth and the teachings that have been lost, it's just I'm physically watching it with my eyes, watching all these people just slowly just get better and raise their consciousness. So yeah, I think it's just by speaking truth. Honestly,
Absolutely.
you know yeah.
It's really nice to see your true essence.
Thank
I
you.
just I have to honor that, because when I first, well, I'm looking at you and I'm like, oh, there she is.
Yeah,
Well, I've seen you though for so long, and it's like you were behind your eyes, you know? You were
yeah,
like
oh, yeah,
trying so hard to come out, and you were going through so much hurt and so much pain. And honestly, I was too.
yeah,
And it's like but I told you I knew there was going to be a time where I was needing to connect in with you, but it was like I kept asking, and it was like, not yet, not
yep,
yet.
it wasn't time. Yeah.
But it's like I'm watching you and I'm like, I know she needs my help, and I want to help her. And Spirit was like, relax,
Yeah,
okay, there's
she's
gonna
got
come a
this.
time.
Yeah, no, it's been a pleasure to finally sit down and talk and do this. And so I hope we can definitely meet again and go over some more cool stuff.
Absolutely. Well,
Yeah,
I'm excited for when, yes, absolutely. And I'm excited for when you get your school stuff up and running,
mm,
because I really want to support you in helping get people over to what you're doing, and get you some, hopefully some more people that can come learn from you and just
yeah,
really tap in. That's my goal with this, is to really support our soul family and just really shine a light on everybody out here doing the work. I mean, that's what it's about for me.
yeah. That's totally what's about. And I appreciate it. Like it's beautiful. I love what you're doing, and yeah, I look forward to talking more. Actually,
It makes me very happy.
me too. It's beautiful. It's time to come together. So
Absolutely.
yeah,
Okay, well, on that note, I'm gonna let you get going so you don't have to drive in too much snow.
yeah. It's actually like starting to come down.
Oh
Like
my God.
okay, it's beautiful though. At least I love it. So no
Yeah,
complaints.
that's awesome. All
Well,
right. Well, it was
you have a beautiful day, and yeah, we'll get together soon. And yeah, thank you for letting me share. It's new to me, but thank you.
You have a beautiful day too, and thank you for sharing you.
Okay, thank you.
All
Om
right.
Namah Shivaya.
No.